the strength and the sincerity that Michael showed in having the conversation that he had and being at the point of his life where he's ready to make real change. And you're only ready to make real change when you're honest with yourself and when you take accountability for your own actions. Those are the two things that I saw from Michael in that interview. You know, it was very good to see because I've known him so long.
Power to the people if you understand, sing for me. Yeah. Power to the people if you understand, sing for me. Say you feel me. Power to the people if you understand, sing for me.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the People's Podcast. I'm your host, Ismail Shahid, hope all is well. We're here today with my brother Michael. It's been a challenge for us to get together, but we finally made it. We're finally here on the People's Podcast. I really appreciate you coming on, my brother. It's an honor to have you on, man. I've known you so long, and you know I watched you coming up in my younger days, my adolescence days, man, and it's an honor. It's really an honor to have you here, man. We finally got together. So, welcome to the show, man. Welcome to the show.
I want to thank you, my brother Ish. I want to say it's an honor for me to be on the show. Just like you said, you watched me come up. I watched you come up. You know, we both experienced some trials and tribulations in life. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I love what you're doing, bro. This is what it's about. It's about uplifting our people. It's not
right.
about being against anybody. It's about uplifting our people. That's first and foremost.
That's right. And as young, we're still young. We're not, people, we old. No, we're not old. We still young. I think you're in your 50s, right? I'm in my 50s.
I turned 55 July 16th.
See, there you go. So, you got 5 years on me. So, but we still got some life in us, man, to give back, man, to our communities, our people, man, our families.
That's right.
Man.
That's right. But we still get them free donuts from AARP. Don't forget that. We get them senior citizen discounts.
I heard that. I actually hooked it up to my phone.
Really?
My phone bill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I ain't get there yet, but I'm after this birthday, I'm getting all of that. I want it all.
Yeah. So share something with us, man. Share something personal you want to share so people know who we talking to. Because I started this podcast with the mindset of, the people's podcast, their story,
Right.
their voice, directly from you, directly from the people. So if you can, man, share something with us that you would like to share that people will know who they talking to.
Okay. All right. So I'm 55 years old. I'm originally from South Jamaica, Queens, New York City. Mm-hmm. After getting locked up my first prison bid, which I was sentenced to 3 to 9 years for a nonviolent crime at the age of 16, I came home at the age of 19 to Binghamton, New York, where I still had the mindset of criminal thinking, and I still was doing the same things. We always talk about insanity. Well, I was a perfect example of insanity because I was doing the same thing over and over, trying to expect different results, and I wound up, putting in 3 different prison bids and a violation of the state prison system, behind, living the street life. I want to say, I don't like to glamorize anything. I'll just say criminal thinking. But I came home, my last prison bid, I think I came home when I was 36. And that's when the change came for me. That's when I seen everything differently.
Mm-hmm. So what was the moment like? What was that moment of change like? Because I know what it was like for me, and I know that the moment and the time where I said, like you said, having criminal thoughts, doing. Somebody, a senior of mine, described it as antisocial behavior. So,
Yeah.
What was that moment like when you said, "Listen, a light bulb clicked on. I got to change this. I got to do this. I got to do something different."
Well, I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna go back a little bit to when I was in prison. When I was upstate in prison, I was laying in my bed one day, and my current wife today, she was married to somebody else at the time,
Mm-hmm.
And I remember she wrote me a letter, and she asked me to sign over my parental rights to my daughter. And people might say, "Oh, that's messed up," but I was a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
was bad. Let's forget about all the materialistic stuff, the sneakers and stuff
Yeah.
that I provided for my daughter. I was a bad father,
Yeah.
and she didn't want that type of life around her daughter, and I had to understand that.
For sure.
But when she sent me that letter asking that, that's when the light bulb clicked on, and it was like, yo, it's time. It's
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 time.
time.
It's time.
You know. But I'm gonna tell you one thing. Um, Even though I moved on a path to change, I still went down a dark road, brother. And I'm gonna get to that, but I
Okay.
still went down a dark road, bro.
What what it is when change happens, like when that light bulb kicks on, and you tell yourself, "I need to change. I need to do something different." It's not like it's not like overnight. You still
No,
got devices. You still got things that you're gonna be fighting and battling, and it's not gonna happen. I know that road getting to the point where you want to get to becoming a better person, a better man, a better father. It takes time to get there, man. So you're not the story is the same with most people, man, that say I want to change my life. I say this to say because I tell people that because the internet gives the description of somebody's toxic or these people are toxic. You may have hurt somebody along that road that you don't know what damage you have caused.
right, exactly.
Now you expect them because you said you're going to change your life. You expect them to say, "All right, accept me again." No, you got to work back. You got to work back trust from people. You got to work back. You got a lot of work to do. So,
Yep.
um, where we at now? Where we at now? If you want to
Where I'm at now in my
expand on.
life,
Oh,
I'm gonna tell you something. I've been down a very dark road,
yeah,
and I'm gonna tell you the key thing that I was missing in my whole life for change was mental health,
yeah.
which I now have a therapist where I go to mental health, and it took me after getting off of parole, after not being convicted of a felony for almost 15 years, after purchasing my first home on my own, after staying out of the life of criminal thinking.
Mm-hmm.
It took me sitting in my basement with a gun in my mouth, ready to end my life a few months ago, and it was because I had demons from my childhood that I suppressed all of my life. All of my life. I'm talking about I had issues with abandonment. I had issues with sexual misbehavior within my family.
Mm-hmm.
I had so many issues going on within me, and I would just suppress them. Because let me tell you something. Growing up, and I don't know if it was this way for you, but when I grew up in the city,
Yeah.
you was taught that you stand 10 toes down. You don't show no emotion. You don't
Oh yeah.
cry. You
Oh
don't
yeah.
do none of that. So you take that, and then when I go into prison, you definitely don't show no emotion.
For sure.
So my whole life was built on making myself a rock, no emotion, being hard, But like I said, I had all these demons that I was carrying. I had a bag in my heart that I was carrying of straight demons, and it's like a soda bottle.
Mm-hmm.
You shake a soda bottle up, all them bubbles come to the top.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then when you twist it open, what happens? It all shoots out all over the place,
Yeah. Yep.
and it affected everything. Listen. A lot of people looked at me, because we got Facebook now. You could be whatever you want to be on Facebook. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? All you
Yeah.
got to do is put a couple of pictures up there that look good, and
Yep.
people think you living a life. Well, I'm gonna be the first to tell you, I was living a horrible life. I was a horrible father. I was a horrible husband. I had the meanest attitude. Everything I was doing was backwards from the way I should have been doing it. You see what I'm saying? But my ego and my friend's ego, and when I say my friend's ego, you have them friends that tell you what you want to hear,
Yeah. Yeah.
that don't tell you the truth,
Yep.
that don't tell you what you need to hear. Like, Michael, you need to take a step back. You bugging out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
or you need to go get some help. You're not yourself.
Yeah.
I didn't have them friends at that time. I had friends that'll tell me, "Oh man, why everybody act tripping on you like that? You paying all the bills. You put a house up. That don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
None of that means nothing. So what? I put a house up. So what? I pay the bills.
Yeah.
If I'm making that house miserable, if I'm making it a terror dome, then what? None of that means nothing. It means nothing.
You're right.
So that's where I was at. I was a very miserable, mean person, and at one point I had to realize that I sabotage relationships.
Mm.
You know, I was the type of person that would get into a relationship, whether it be a friendship or a relationship with a female,
Yeah.
and that relationship would be healthy, and I would destroy it because I was so afraid they was going to leave me anyway. So I would sabotage it, self sabotage. I would sabotage everything around me, you know, and
Yeah.
then I'd be stuck in that dark place. I was always growing up ish. I was always a person because of all the stuff I've been through in life. I slept on park benches when I was like 14 years old.
Oh yeah.
So I slept in after hour clubs in New York City
Yeah.
where the worst of stuff could happen to you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I've seen things. I've experienced things. Um, I was never afraid to die. I always looked at death as I'm going to sleep. You know, I'm going to go to sleep anyway. I sleep all the time anyway. You
Yeah.
know, I spend parts of my days sleeping,
Mm-hmm.
and for me, I always looked at it like that. I'm going to sleep. What stopped me from doing what I was doing to myself with that gun in my mouth? I knew I didn't want to die that way. That was the
Yeah.
only thing,
Yeah.
and that's what stopped me.
Well, I'm glad you did, brother, because we need men like you. We need honest, sincere men like you, and there's very few, because you know as well as I know the characteristics and the idea of what a man was. Although, like you said, back in the day, it was you got to be tough, you got to be this, you got to be this.
Right.
But now, and I was speaking even to some of the seniors that I know that are in their 70s and going into their 80s, understanding that yeah, maybe we should have expressed things a little better when we were younger or when we was
Exactly.
in our 50s. They even agreeing upon that right now. Maybe we should have expressed things. Maybe we should have talked more. And right now, the first part of it, when you're moving forward, like you said, you was down a dark road. And again, my brother, I'm glad you're still here with us. That you didn't
Right.
take that way out, because that we don't we man, you got a lot to give. You got a lot, just like we said. We not old, so we got a lot of life. We got a lot to give. And I watch some of the things you speak about on Facebook and your wisdom you have. So you have a lot of wisdom and understanding on life and moving forward. So you got a lot to give. You got a lot to give. But I was saying that to say that men aren't usually nowadays, have the avenue to say, listen, I'm hurting, or be honest with themselves. I'm hurting. I need help. You know what I'm saying? I need this. I need that. A brother was telling me that, and I know that for myself within Islam, how Muslim brothers live, and you don't find that normally in Islam where somebody would speak up and say, "I'm hurting, I'm going through something, I'm
Right.
troubled, I need help," because if he does that, he's gonna be either shunned or he's weak, he's weak-minded, he's
Right.
weak-hearted, he's weak this. When actually there's strength in saying, "I need help."
Exactly.
There's strength in saying, "I need help." So what are some of the steps you taking today, man, to move forward? Like with going through that dark period, what are some of the steps you taking now to move forward to progress your life, man?
Well, you know that I know you know I started a page on Facebook that United Die for Black Empowerment. I had to
Yeah,
take a step back from a lot of the politics because, like I said, I had to have self love. I had to show self love to myself. I
yeah,
had to understand why I was so depressed inside. I had to my therapist with the work with my therapist and everything. I had to understand that a lot of things that happened with me as a child wasn't my fault.
yeah,
I had a right to be angry, but if I'm still carrying it right now, it is my fault.
yeah,
If I'm allowing these things to take power over me right now, it is my fault. So now today, where I'm at today, I can talk about it, I can own it, because it's not mine. It's not mine. You know,
yeah,
yeah, I carried it for a long time, but it was never mine.
yeah,
It was never mine to carry. I just carried it. And a lot of black men in society, is sad to say, they choose not to see this. They choose not to see that mental health is the way to be for a black man. Because we always cry about everything that we got to endure as black men. And the strength don't come from you prevailing through it. The strength comes from you dealing with the aftermath of how what you had to go through affected you.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the strength comes from. Because when you deal with that stuff on the way it affected you, and you deal with it, it makes you a stronger person. So where I'm at today, I quit smoking cigarettes. I work out every day.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
I spend more time with my wife. I talk to her. I talk to my therapist. I check myself. I look in the mirror every day and ask myself, how do I feel about where I'm at today? Where do I want to be in the future? How am I acting towards people around me?
Mm-hmm.
Because I needed to go to people and tell me the truth. I had a brother tell me, he's not even my friend, but he was how could I say, he was a friend by a relative. Like, he was his cousin.
Yeah.
My wife's cousin used to date him, so he used to be around me for family events and cookouts. And I happened to see him the other day. And one thing about when you're recovering or you're rehabilitating yourself and you're fixing yourself, you're not afraid to talk about the demons that you had or who you used to be. So I find myself a lot of times talking about stuff, and not in the sense of like trying to preach, but I just feel so good about myself. I want to let the world know that I'm not that person. The person you thought I was, that was the wrong person. So I was telling this brother about myself, and he came out and said to me, he was like, Mike, I didn't want to tell you this before because I didn't want to strain our relationship, but you are a hard person to deal with.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, about time. That's what I needed to hear.
Yeah.
I don't need nobody stroking my ego. I did that enough for 30 years.
Straight.
You know what I'm saying? I
Straight,
stroked my
straight.
own ego. I don't need nobody to stroke it. I needed healthy relationships where people could tell me, yo, you need to check yourself, bro.
Yeah.
Or how you feeling today? You look like you depressed. And I got people around me like that today.
That's
I got
good.
people that really check up on me, that know what I've been through, and they check in on me. They call me, how you doing today? I'm just calling to check on you to see how you doing. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have that before. Like I said, I had people that was like, oh, why everybody getting on your case, Mike? You pay the bills, you do this, you do that, you work hard. But none of that means nothing if you an a-hole. If you're acting like an a-hole, if you're treating the people around you like an a-hole, if you're doing all these negative things, what good is that doing? Nobody's happy.
Oh.
Nobody's happy. You feel me?
That's right. So, I mean, one thing is important, I know, for us, and it's important on having that teammate, that wife, that strong wife that's in your corner, man. I know that's important. And from what I see, I don't know, from what I see and what you're telling me, it seems like, she's a good support system for you, and that's real good, man, because I know a lot of brothers going through it. I do this men's group on Tuesdays and Fridays with these brothers. And one brother was talking about how he doesn't have good relationships. And he was doing the same thing you was talking about, sabotaging his relationships, messing up his relationships for fear. But he's getting to a point where he's talking about it more and ready to address it more. So what would be some of the advice you would give right now? Like, say if you see young African Americans or young black men doing the same thing or going through the same thing, do you find yourself, because I know I do, I find myself stopping, like I see a young man and he's doing something, listen, man, come here. I find myself doing that. Do you find yourself doing that?
Well, first, I'm gonna answer your question about advice. One thing I don't do, my brother Ish, and I'm firm on this. I don't like to give people advice, but what I'll tell them is what worked for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because when you tell somebody advice, that's not even necessarily means that you follow your own advice. Because you have people that give good advice, but they don't even follow their own.
Follow their own advice, yeah.
Right. So what I try to do, I try to tell people, when I was going through this is what I did. This is how I handle it. So if I seen a young person, let's just say I seen a young Michael, a young image of me, right?
Yeah.
The first thing I would tell them is, get on that phone and Google mental health and understand every aspect of that definition, and then see how it applies to you. You know what I mean? Because a lot of black men don't even understand. And it's sad because, like you said, we in our 50s, right?
Yeah.
So the generation before us, which probably in their 70s and 80s, they taught us nothing pertaining to mental health. They taught us nothing pertaining to having emotions. They taught us nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? And with this era of social media and all these extra words that are being used today, like um what is it?
Toxic.
Toxic, parent
Toxic.
canceling,
God. Yeah.
gaslight, all these
Yeah.
crazy
Yeah.
words.
Yeah.
Instead of just using the word, yo, you hurt my feelings. You hurt my.
Exactly.
We got all of these definitional terms for mental health. It's mind boggling. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Yeah.
but they do have a validity. But to me, that's just stringing out a feeling. When I
Mm.
hear all these different words, you know, you got cancel culture, you got all these different meanings and words with this new generation. It's
Yeah.
kind of hard to teach this younger generation. So I don't even tell when I sit down with somebody and they might ask me, like I had a kid in Price Chopper, this young brother in Price Chopper one day, and he asked me, he said, how do you do it? And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, yo, you got two different color vests, so you must have two different jobs. He's like, how do you do it? I said, I just do it. I just do it. I was like, I don't think about it, I just do it. You know what I mean? I said, when you start thinking about it, you put infiltration into your mind to make you not want to do it. You think of excuses not to do it. But if you
Yeah.
just do it, if you just go and do it, because I used to always sit back and say, Ish, I used to be like, yo, I'm not working two jobs. I work hard enough. But I'm doing it, and it's not even killing me. It's like
Yeah.
I I'm not gonna say I love it, but it's okay
Yeah.
because it keeps me feeling young.
Yeah.
You know, it keeps me moving around.
Yeah.
So, but I used to procrastinate on stuff like that. I used to always make an excuse because
Yeah.
I was thinking too much on it. But now I do it. If I want to do something now, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. And if I fail at it, then I learned a lesson from it on why I failed at it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. What's your I'm gonna get back to that question. I'm thinking about one question, but I'm gonna get back to that question. I want to get back to what you think is plaguing, and like you said, you started that page, and I know you focus a lot on Black people and African American people and they struggle. What do you think some of the biggest struggles that are facing these communities that we going through?
The lack of black men respecting their own blackness first, and
Mm-hmm.
then respecting black women in our community. That's the
Mm-hmm.
biggest problem today that we have in our community. And I'll
Mm-hmm.
stand on it. I'll say that first every time. That's the biggest problem that we face in our community.
I mean, it's going to take, if we face that problem, and we, of course, we face that problem, and I see it. I see it with people I know, people I don't know, people I come across. But it's going to take somebody. It's not that I want to push you into the giving the advice. I would say this for Black men our age, and that the things that we've been through and seen and coming up, we are going to have to get more involved within our community.
Facts. Facts.
We're
That's
going to have to
facts.
get more involved within our community centers, volunteering, after school programs with the kids if we got to do that. Something, but we're going to have to get more involved within our community because, or
More men's
start
groups.
men's groups. Yeah, I was about to say that, or men's groups. And I think, what's the name? When I was in last time I was in Binghamton a couple of years ago, and somebody had started a men's group. It was real good. It was real good. I was
Yeah.
going there. Yeah, and it was a real good men's group. And we're gonna do more things like that. But to get back to a question I was thinking about, what is your take on trauma?
Whoa. Trauma plays a big part in the process of healing from mental health. Because you got to think of something. All right, so for me, when I was growing up, I faced mental trauma, physical
Hmm.
trauma,
Hmm.
economical trauma, um, PTSD,
Hmm.
post traumatic stress, depression, all of that entwined. So imagine growing up as a young man with all of these things on your shoulder. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Trauma is always, I'm not going to say for all because I don't know everybody's experience, but for most black men, especially most black men that came up in my era,
Hmm.
we experienced those things.
Hmm.
We experienced being the have-nots. We experienced there not being enough money flowing through the household to have a proper setting, a proper home. We experienced having the mindset to think that we had to go out on the streets and risk our lives to make a ends meet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some black households experience sexual trauma.
Yeah.
But with the black family, stuff like that is taboo because if you tried to talk about it, somebody would shut you down real quick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For whatever
Yeah.
reason it could be. Maybe you was crying to the parent whose boyfriend was doing the sexual issues, and she didn't want to lose that person, so she told you to shut your mouth. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we always dealt with some type of traumatic situation growing up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I asked that question. You know why I asked that question? Because I've had the conversation a few times with people on trauma. And I feel like what you explained, how you broke it down, trauma, understandable. But I feel like it's being abused nowadays, almost to the point of everybody's coming up with, something happened to me and now I got trauma, or I got locked out of my house, I have trauma. I see, you know what I'm saying? It's being
No, you're
used
right. You're right.
as a crutch now, like
Right.
to either I don't want to do nothing, or I have an issue and I'm in it's being used as a crutch, and I don't like that because some people are experiencing trauma. Now you have people that's using it as a crutch. And
Right.
it's
I
not
can't
really
sleep
there.
at night, so I got
Yeah,
trauma. You
yeah,
know, I,
yeah,
I, I get it. I get it.
yeah,
But we got to be careful not to disassociate people's traumas because I go back to, I was one of them kids that tried to cry for help in a family setting and I was shunned. So, you know, I was told that I didn't know what I was talking about. I was making it up, you know, and stuff like that. So it's a fine line that we have to walk when it comes to trauma, and I get what you're saying. I get it wholeheartedly. And sometimes I take a deep breath like, here we go. You know what I'm saying? Because I know my trauma. I know what I've been through.
oh yeah,
I,
yeah,
I, I know what I've been through. Like I said,
yeah,
my trauma carried me up to almost 52 years old, 53 years old. I was ready to take my life. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? So I
yeah,
know, but I can't sit back and disdain somebody else's trauma, because like I said, I've been through that. I've been through it when people tried to shame me for crying out for help or stuff like that. So I know how it feels.
yeah. That's a good take on that, man. Because I wanted to touch on that with you because I know that's some of the things that you talk about and speak about. But I only asked that question because I don't want trauma being abused, and I don't want to make light of somebody's trauma either. But I don't want it being abused because there's people going through real things. There's
Right,
people going through real things. So,
right.
but I mean, moving forward, man. Do you see yourself starting a men's group or something like that?
Well, right now at this time, no. I just jumped back into like really doing because I'm still learning. I'm at a point in my life. I'm still learning things about our people, you know, and I took a step. I took a step back because, like I said, I was dying inside. Like that slogan, "Unite or Die." That means something to me. You know what I'm saying? Because you could be the Walking Dead. You could be walking around and be dead inside,
That's right.
and that's what I was. That's where I was at. I'd walk around, I'd smile, I would give good words of wisdom, I would give some good knowledge. You've seen me in protests out here and doing
Oh
stuff
yeah.
like that,
Oh yeah.
but I was dying inside, and
Yeah.
all of it was a facade, not meaning that I didn't care about what I was doing, but I didn't care about myself. So now where I'm at, I would love to be a part of a men's group, but I don't think I'm ready to start something like that because I can't give the time to something like that.
Yeah.
But I would support it. I would be there for it, and I would interact with it if it ever happened. I would
Yeah.
love for it to happen. I just don't think I can spearhead it because I just got so I got a little. My plate is a little full now with my self help and taking care of myself. I
Yeah.
have to be. You have to some point in life be selfish and take care of yourself because being pro-black, I try to tell people this: being pro-black is not so much of everything you do in the community. It's what you do at home too. It's how you carry yourself at home too,
Mm-hmm.
and the way you profess your pro-blackness at home will spew out into the community. You see
Into
what
the
I'm saying?
community. Yeah. Yeah. Into the community.
And I wasn't doing that. I was becoming unraveled. I had to really take a step back from everything because I had to do self care. I had to work on myself. I had to take care of these demons. Face my fears and do all of this stuff for me, so I can stand 10 toes down really, and be able to hold my head up high. And I'm getting to that point. I'm not completely there yet, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Yeah, the road is like that. We just talked about the road getting back. Like when you first make that, from the first time you make that conscientious choice to say, oh, shoot, I got to change. When you got that letter and you like, wow, she really asked me that, but I got to respect getting that letter from her. I got to
Right.
make a change. Now the road begins. I was just telling my son, one of my youngest son, that been through some troubles, little small minus things in his life. But I told him, I said the road back to gaining your honor and your respect again is going to be a road, and that road traveled. Sometimes it goes to ups and downs. It got ups and downs. It got bumps.
Right.
It got this
Right.
here. It got that. So many turns. How did you embrace the turns on the road? How did you embrace those?
Well, at first I thought I was just running over them. You know what I mean? But like I said, when you're going through something, right? When you're dealing with something other than life, when you have baggage, I want to call it, when you're carrying baggage and you think you're solving problems, you're not really solving them. You're just throwing them in that bag that you carry.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
just carrying them on your back. You know what I'm saying? Today, I'm like, it's just so crazy because I think so much clearer now. I'm so much grounded now. You know, like I said, one of my biggest things, I've been smoking for almost 35 years. I haven't touched a cigarette in 3 weeks, and I don't even want one. It's like, this road that I've been on, clearing my mind and working on myself, has been spewing over into other things. And there's so much that, like you said, I feel like I want to give, but I have to be in the right place, in the right state of mind to do it, where I don't take on too much and I collapse. But when you hitting curves like that, sometimes you don't even realize it. Like I said, I was throwing it in the back of my bag. But now that I'm doing work on myself, I'm seeing all them curves that I just ignored and I just threw in the bag. And I'm like, I could have solved that. I could have
yeah,
dealt with that. I could have did this differently. I could have did that differently. Because even on this path that I was on, I had a lot of letdowns on a path to get where I'm at today. It wasn't all just success. I had a lot of letdowns. I let a lot of other people down. I hurt a lot of feelings. People hurt my feelings. There was a lot to deal with. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And I dealt with them, but
yeah,
I didn't deal with them right. But now I'm dealing with them right. I know how to process things. I feel that I cry a lot now. This is one thing that helps me. I cry a lot, and I feel that tears are a pivotal point in the process of healing when it comes to trauma.
I agree. I
When
agree.
you cry, and I cry a lot. I tell you,
Mm-hmm.
bro, I cry a lot. I be sitting
Mm-hmm.
here with my wife sometimes, and we be listening to oldies or something, having a couple of drinks, and I'll start talking about stuff from our past. I'll start crying,
Yeah,
but after I stop crying, I feel like I could take on the world because we done
that's
we
it.
done talked about it, and I done got it out.
That's
I feel
it.
like a whole different person. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
it. That's it.
So, that's how I deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
know?
excellent, man. But I mean, I'm thinking about some of the things you're talking about, and I know for me, Mike, man, when I finally, try to make the change, man, I don't know if you know my pivotal point. My pivotal point was when I got shot.
Right,
That joint changed. That joint, I was like, dang. And the doctor pronounced me dead on the slab.
right.
He's like, this guy's gone. He said, we might as well just walk out because this guy's gone. And I was like, dang, it's like that. I heard one of the nurses grab and said, this guy's not, he's hanging on. He's hanging on, doc. So from there, I know I could give you an example for myself because I went through some of the similar stuff. And when I said I was going to change it, like I had to face the people that I hurt. I had to face the people and understand. And one thing is important, and then I see where you at. Like we talked earlier, offline about having that same mindset, is being honest with yourself.
Yeah,
It's being honest with yourself and not telling yourself no more lies, man. I'm jacked up. I got to fix. I need help. Telling yourself these things and being honest with yourself is real important. So One thing I want to ask you is my daughters asked me. They said they said, "Pops, man, we think you should get a therapist. Like we think you should see a therapist." And I said, "You really do?" So they really trying to push me towards that. What I want to know is, how's the process of that? Does it really help?
It helps a lot, bro. Listen, let me tell you how this happened. My daughter. It's funny you said your daughter
Yeah,
because me and my daughter wasn't speaking. I don't know if you know my daughter, Epiphany. She's like a
I think
she's
so a little, not as much, but yeah, I know who she is. Yeah, I think I seen her before, and I said happy
right.
birthday one time to yeah. Yeah.
So one day we went out to dinner and we had an estranged relationship. Like we didn't speak for a long time
Yeah.
because she had some issues with the way I was as a father. Like I said, I wasn't always a good father.
Yeah.
So she felt the brunt of it. And one day we went out to dinner when we first reconciled and talked, and she told me that I needed therapy. And when she said it, I was already kind of thinking about it. I was already kind of weighing the options on should I go or should I shouldn't.
Well,
And mind you, I had already went to a therapist through my job, but I didn't feel comfortable with this therapist because it was a white lady, and I couldn't relate. She can't relate to me.
yeah. Yeah.
Went through like 3 sessions with her, and I was done.
Yeah.
So my daughter gave me a link, and it was cool because the when I got in touch with the it wasn't the counselor per se when I first got in touch with him. It was like getting in touch with a message board. They would ask you what type of counselor you want. Do you want a male? Do you want a black person? Do you want this?
It's
Do
like
you
a
want that?
almost
You
like a
know?
screen, like a
Yeah.
screening. Yeah.
Do you want to be like we are right now, looking at each other,
Yeah.
or virtual, or do you want to do it over the phone and stuff like that? So you get to pick your comfortability on how you want to deal with this therapist.
Yeah.
And for me, it's gold, man. Like, yo, listen, man, listen, man, it's a big help. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not even gonna say. For me, I knew I needed it as a black man. I needed it.
Yeah.
I needed it, and and like I told you, I don't like to give advice, but our culture of black men, we've gone through so much,
Mm.
through society, everything. You know, some of us don't even like the way we look when we look in the mirror. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of brothers out there that feel they don't like the person that they see in the mirror,
Yeah.
and
That's not good.
and that's mental health is needed, man.
Yeah.
Mental
Yeah.
health is needed. It's
Yeah.
needed for our culture, for our black men. I would say maybe 80%, 75, 80% need some type of therapy
Mm-hmm. And
to
how
fix.
much is how much of that percentage you think is saying that they need the help, or addressing it and saying, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and get the help? Maybe 20, maybe 30.
Maybe, yeah, maybe 30, 35, maybe even 40. But I know
Yeah.
it's a very low number because
Yeah.
you could walk around outside in the street and just see that, I see a lot of me when I walk outside.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
I see a lot of the fake arrogance. I see a lot of me when I
Yeah.
walk around, when I see other brothers, and like I said, I don't know their stories or nothing like that, but trust me, I feel like if my people, my black brothers picked up a phone and called a therapist, or if we had more men's group like you said, you know, um, then I think it'll be just so much more different the way black men would view themselves, would view their predicaments, would view what they can do in life, what they can accomplish. You
Yeah.
know,
They might end up, excuse me, they might end up breaking down in tears and really seeing that, oh, shoot, I was jammed up. I was messed up.
right, right,
Yeah, I was
right.
messed up. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
because what we do as black men, we hold a lot of people hostage.
yeah, yeah,
We hold hostages. When we go to prison and do bids, we hold hostages because we
yeah,
expect the people to wait for us. We contact, we send letters, we do all this stuff. We don't let them be free. We don't allow them to live their life.
yeah. Keep
You
making
know,
mistakes in relationships. Say, oh, babe, I'll be right back. I got it. I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to fix it. Wait. I'm
right,
trying to fix it. Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Or even our kids, or even our, you know what I'm saying? Like we'll tell them, yo, you know, I need you to hear this. I need you to listen to me. I got my life together. Nah, it doesn't work like that. They'll listen to you when the time is right, when they're ready. You can't. You have one thing I had to understand about my recovery into life and what I was looking at and what I was trying to do with myself. One thing I said to myself, I'm not gonna hold nobody hostage. If my kids ain't ready to speak to me, because I have a couple of kids that don't even speak to me right now, and I'm okay
Yeah.
with that because I did everything I could possibly to be in
Yeah.
their life. But if they're not ready, I'm not going to hold their emotions or their feelings hostage. You
Yeah.
know, I'll let them be where they need to be until they get where they need to get to
Yeah.
have that conversation with me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it might not never happen. I have to be okay with that. I have to. I have to because my actions perpetuated a lot of things and a lot of reasons why I don't talk to my kids.
Well,
So,
well, some of the similar. Some stuff is similar because I got most of my kids talk to me. Only one kid doesn't. And my oldest son does not talk to me no more. So
right.
I think we're gonna get to a point where we could get back there. But like you said, I'm okay with it. I'm giving him his space. I think that he's trying to maybe is it a son or is it a daughter that doesn't talk to you?
I have, out of my kids, I have two sons and I have a daughter that don't speak to me.
Okay. Daughters a little more difficult. Sons are usually trying to find themselves.
Right.
Daughters, you may have to keep throwing a hand out there. I'm here. I'm your father. I love you. I'm sorry. I'm here. I'm your father. You may have to with a daughter. You may have to keep throwing a hand out there because you don't want a
Well,
daughter to go.
I disagree, brother. I disagree because, like, my daughter, the one that I don't speak to, she's 25, right?
Oh,
She's a
okay.
grown adult. She's a grown adult. She
Yeah.
has two kids,
Yeah.
right? And mind you, part of the and in this situation, the reason why we don't talk has nothing to do with me, and I mean that wholeheartedly. Nothing to do with me. We had the perfect relationship. She did something wrong. I pulled her coat about it, and she stopped speaking to me. With that being said, I can't do nothing about that. You know, if she can't, you know, I've tried to contact her. I tried to tell her, you know, we need to talk. I love you. You're still my daughter, regardless of what. She she refuses not to. So I have to let her be over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
can't allow that to affect me,
Yeah.
to get me to the point where I'm not taking care of myself. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
said, my self care comes first. Because if I'm not okay, I can't be there for nobody. You
Yeah.
know, I can't have a level head for nobody. So, like I said, I'm gonna let you be over there, and maybe one day you'll realize that we shouldn't even be this separated. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
or whatever the case may be. I know even daughter, son, whatever. I firmly believe that if you felt in your heart that you did everything you can do possibly to be in that child's life, then maybe it's time just to step back and just hope for the best. You know what I mean? Just hope for the best. You know,
I
and
agree. I agree with that. I agree with that. For me, on the daughter level, I would for my daughter, I would reach out, man. I spent
right,
a
right,
year not, I spent a year not talking to one of my daughters one time, and that joint killed me, man.
yeah,
My son, my sons, it's a little different relationship with boys, but
right, right, right. I
man,
get.
so yeah, yeah, yeah. But we up against. I'm looking at our time. We almost close to our time. But close us out, Mike. Close us out, man. Tell us how we moving forward with life, man. What's the next stages? What's the next steps? You know,
Um,
give us something to
for
close
me,
us
it's
out.
like, all right. For me, it's like just still educating myself. You know, I try to when I learn something, that's when I put something on Facebook. Because if I learned it and something new and I think it's awesome, I put it out there for my
Yeah,
people to grab. You know what I'm saying? But what I would want to say to my young black men out there, stop this cancel culture when it comes to our black women. Stop disrespecting our black women, right?
yeah,
I'm not telling you who to date, who to be with, or none of that. But stop disrespecting our black women. You don't. There's nothing cool about that. You know, I'm sure you understand why I'm saying that. You know, especially if you're a young black man, that means your mother's black, your sister's black. You know,
yeah,
Just stop it. Stop it. Look in the mirror and look at yourself and love yourself, because all that comes from low self-esteem and self-hate. When you disrespect black women, you don't like yourself because they created you. And I'm going to land with
Yeah.
that.
I was reading something one time that said there's a house blessed. There's no house. I don't know how I'm paraphrasing, but it was said that there's no house blessed like a house that has a black queen or a black sister inside of it.
That's right.
And yeah. So
That's a fact.
I was like,
Especially for a
yeah,
black man. Listen,
yeah,
especially for a black man. That listen,
yeah,
and I've been there. I've been there. I've dated outside my race, but
yeah.
I woke up. I'm like, listen, and I can make it sound as crazy as possible. I mean, I couldn't see myself waking up with the slave master's daughter. I couldn't see it. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't see it. You know what I'm saying? I just could not see it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
I
man,
watch movies like Django. I watch Nat Turner movie. I watch some
that's
type of
sad.
movie, and
It's
there's
sad.
no way in heck that I could sit next to a colonizer and wake up every day and justify my existence of loving my black people and loving my black women. No,
You
I
heard
can't.
that?
I can't. You know what I'm saying?
We don't want Dr. Umar knocking at our door.
No bunnies never.
Yeah, I heard that. All right, man. Yeah, we up against our time. So, Mike, man, it was good speaking to you, man. It's good having this opportunity to have this conversation, man. It's been a long time coming, man. And inshallah, meaning God willing,
God
you know,
willing, I know.
I get back, I come to Bing, I'll let you know, man. We could grab a bite to eat, grab a meal, man, and chat it up, man. So I'll give
Definitely,
you
and
a head.
definitely, if you have any other topics that you talk about, and you want to bring me up, I'm available, man. Just let me know.
I got a lot of topics, man, on the docket and on the mind, and just trying to bring people to that level. Understand it's the same place you at, the same place I'm at. Traveling that road, going down that road, trying to help people navigate that road and understand, it's going to be rough. It's going to be
Right,
rough, and being honest with yourself, man. Being absolutely
right.
honest with yourself, man.
Facts,
Being honest
facts.
with yourself. So, but I appreciate you, man,
I
and
appreciate you too, bro.
love you dearly, brother.
Love you too, man. Stay in touch.
All right, all right,
All right,
all right.
all
Assalamu
right.
alaikum.
Peace.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that interview, and it wasn't just something to listen to, it was something to take to heart, understand, you know, the strength and the sincerity that Michael showed in having the conversation that he had and being at the point of his life where he's ready to make real change. And you're only ready to make real change when you're honest with yourself and when you take accountability for your own actions. Those are the two things that I saw from Michael in that interview. It was very good to see because I've known him so long. And we all, hopefully us, at this age that we find that strength. Not many men find that strength. Not many men find that because they think it's a weakness. So I hope you really enjoyed that interview and took it to heart, man. And one thing I want to say in closing remarks about all of this is that we have to check on each other more. We have to check on each other more. We don't check on each other enough. We don't check on our brethren enough, or our sisters, or our family, or our loved ones. All signs point to let's leave each other. Let's leave each other in the lurch. Let's not care for one another. Let's not, check on them while they're here. We don't check on each other while we're here. I'm going to give you an example, and this was a while ago. It was a young lady that I went to high school with. And, used to watch her Facebook posts, right? And there were alarming Facebook posts, to say the least. Very depressing, very showing signs of serious depression. And she was calling out. She was calling out. You could tell in her post that she was calling out. I'm through. I'm done. But It wasn't just, because a lot of people may say that, but they had some type of, I don't know. When I read them, I said, somebody needs to check on her. And I'm sitting in my kitchen one day and my phone rings. And I haven't spoken to this person. I went to high school with this young lady. I haven't spoken to her since high school. That was 10 years, 15 years. And I never really spoke to her in high school like that either. And my messenger Facebook thing rings. And I'm like, why the heck is she calling me? But, I'm going to take my own advice because for some reason she saw fit to reach out. So I answered the phone. What was up? What's going on? Ismail. And I'm like, and she was saying it as if, we just spoke. And she was saying how she's hungry. She's not eating and this and that. And I'm like, what's going on? Where are you? She said, a family or a friend got a hotel for the night and, she hasn't had anything to eat in days. I'm like, what? I said, well, the only thing I could do is maybe send you get a pizza. Is there a pizza shop around in this area, that I can send, and maybe I could send you a pizza. I mean, that's all I can do. I can't come where you're at. So she said, that's fine. She gave me the address to the hotel. She gave me the room number, everything. I sent the pizza there. She sends a message back saying she got the pizza. And 3 days later, I'm watching all this stuff on Facebook again. And this young lady took her life, overdosed drugs. I think probably in that same hotel. And when she was crying out on Facebook, she was crying out, you can tell she's lashing out or she's trying to reach somebody. One person's responding, two people's responding. She passed away. She takes her life. I see 300, 400, 500, 600 people. And I'm like, where was these people when she was crying out for help? Where were they at? Now 300 people all of a sudden out of nowhere, 500, 600 people love her? Oh, you love her? As humans, as humanity, man, for that type of stuff, we should be ashamed of ourselves, seek forgiveness. Look after one another. Check on one another. Everybody sent a text message. You didn't get my text message? I said I cared for you. I loved you. Knock on the door, pick up the phone. Come in person. It doesn't cost anything to be kind. It doesn't cost anything to look after your loved ones or somebody that may be hurting. And if you show true sincerity, they may open up and say, I'm hurting, I need help. How can you help? And if you can, you help. If you can, you help. So I hope we take that from this interview, understand, looking out for one another. Looking out for one another is very important. Very important. Please don't let one of your loved ones go, meet their creator and you didn't express or show gratitude while they were here. Again, I hope you loved the interview. I'm your host, Ismail Shahid of the People's Podcast. Thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.